The morning light poured through the kitchen window in a way that made everything look honest. Except her. Ethan Cole sat at the small wooden table, fingers circling the rim of a chipped coffee cup. Across from him, his wife, Natalie, was scrolling through her phone. The sound of her manicured nails tapping the glass had become, lately, the soundtrack of their mornings. He watched her, not in anger, not yet, but with a quiet curiosity, like someone listening to the ocean and realizing the waves sound different than before. "You're up early," he said finally. Natalie looked up, startled, then smiled the kind of smile that doesn't touch the eyes. "Couldn't sleep. Big presentation today." Ethan nodded. "The firm again?" "Yeah. The investors are coming from Atlanta. It's kind of a big deal." She wasn't lying. At least, not yet. But there was something in the way she said Atlanta, the way her voice softened at the end of the word, that made it sound like a name. Ethan had known Natalie for 12 years. They met at the University of South Carolina, fell in love fast, married young, and built a life out of plans and promises. He became a contractor, restoring old houses in Charleston's historic district. She climbed the corporate ladder at a marketing firm, learning to speak in the sleek, polished tone of success. They had a 2-story home near the Ashley River, a chocolate lab named Duke, and friends who envied how well they seemed to fit together. But somewhere along the way, the rhythm changed. Conversations turned into checklists. Laughter turned into silence between TV commercials. The first time Ethan noticed it, it was in small things, her phone always face down, her perfume slightly different, her eyes flickering away when he asked about her day. Then came the nights she worked late. The text replies that took hours. The excuses that didn't quite fit. He didn't want to be the suspicious husband. But the truth has a sound, and it was starting to hum in his ears. It was their friend Madison who planted the first real seed of doubt. They were having drinks at a rooftop bar downtown, the humid air thick with laughter and live jazz. Natalie was across the table, talking too closely to a man from her office, a sharp-dressed guy with an easy smile. Madison leaned over, voice low. "Who's that?" "Her coworker, I think," Ethan said, trying to sound casual. Madison sipped her drink. "You sure?" He's looking at her like he's not thinking about spreadsheets. Ethan chuckled softly, but his stomach tightened. He looked again, and saw it. The way Natalie tilted her head when she laughed. The way she touched the man's arm, quick but familiar. The way she seemed lighter, freer, like she'd stepped out of their marriage for a breath of air. A week later, when she left her phone on the counter, Ethan didn't mean to look. He just wanted to see the time. But there it was, a text preview lighting up the screen. "Last night was perfect. Can't stop thinking about you." A heart emoji. The name read, Derek S. Ethan froze. He stared until the light faded, leaving him with his reflection in the black screen. He didn't open it. Not yet. He wasn't ready for that kind of truth. But something in him cracked, and he couldn't stop hearing the sound of it. That evening, Natalie came home smiling, humming softly, a rare bloom of joy that made Ethan's heart twist. She kissed his cheek, cooked pasta, poured him wine. He almost asked her then. Almost said, "Who's Derek?" But instead, he said, "You look happy." She froze for a heartbeat, too long, too sharp, then smiled again. "Just a good day at work." He nodded, watching her pour sauce over the pasta, her hand trembling slightly. And for the first time, he realized that even lies have beauty in them, because they mean someone cared enough to hide. Ethan started noticing patterns. Every Thursday night, she worked late. Every Friday morning, she left early, saying she had client calls. So one Thursday, he followed her. He felt sick as he did it, ashamed. He told himself it was for closure. For truth. For sanity. He parked 2 blocks away from her office downtown, the streetlights casting yellow halos on the wet pavement. At 8:47 p.m., Natalie walked out, not toward her car, but across the street, toward a small boutique hotel. A man in a gray suit was waiting. Derek. They didn't kiss in public. But they didn't have to. The way they looked at each other, like gravity itself had chosen sides, told Ethan everything. He stayed in the car until the lights in one of the hotel rooms flicked on. And then off again. He didn't confront her that night. Or the next. He slept on the couch, pretending to watch late-night TV while his heart broke in quiet, private ways. He couldn't eat. Couldn't work. Couldn't decide if he wanted to scream or disappear. He remembered the day they'd moved into the house, painting the kitchen walls while she danced barefoot to Fleetwood Mac. He remembered her saying, "Promise me we'll never end up like other couples. Promise we'll always fight for each other." Now he wondered, did she forget? Or just stop caring? Days later, Natalie's phone buzzed again while she showered. Ethan didn't hesitate this time. He opened the thread with Derek. Hundreds of messages, weeks of them. The words blurred together, a painful collage of intimacy. Jokes. Secrets. Plans. And then one message that turned his stomach cold. Can't wait for Charleston to be just a memory. Counting down the days till we're free. He scrolled up, Derek had accepted a job in Chicago. Natalie had said she was considering relocating. She hadn't told Ethan. She was planning to leave him. Charleston's August storms are heavy, humid things, thick with thunder and the scent of salt. That night, the rain came down in waves, the streets slick and shining like oil. Ethan waited by the window, watching the clock. At 11:42 p.m., Natalie came home, soaked, breathless. He stood in the kitchen, the phone on the counter beside him, the open messages glowing in the dark. Her eyes widened when she saw it. And then, silence. "How long?" he asked quietly. She didn't answer. "How long, Natalie?" Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Then, finally, "Since April." The truth landed like a blow. He had to grip the counter to stay upright. "Why?" His voice broke. "Was it me? Was it us?" Tears welled in her eyes. "It wasn't supposed to happen. He made me feel seen. Like I mattered again." Ethan laughed bitterly. "And I didn't. You stopped looking at me," she whispered. "We stopped being us." He slammed his hand against the counter. "So you found someone else? That's your answer?" She started to cry, reaching for him, but he stepped back. The space between them had never felt so vast. The next morning, she was gone. Her closet half empty. Her perfume still hanging in the air like a ghost that refused to leave. She left a note on the table. "Ethan, I'm sorry. I can't keep pretending. I need to find myself again. Maybe someday you'll understand. N." He didn't chase her. Didn't call. Didn't beg. He packed her things into boxes, one by one, and drove them to her office. He left them by the door, no note attached. Then he drove to the beach, the one where they'd had their first date. The tide was low, the horizon gray. He sat there until the sun rose, the waves washing away footprints that used to mean something. Weeks later, she came back for the dog. She looked different, tired, thinner, her eyes unsure. "I just want Duke," she said quietly. Ethan nodded, motionless. "He's in the backyard." As she walked out, he said, "I sent Derek an email." She froze. "What?" "I told him about you. About the hotel. About the way you left your husband without saying a word." Her face went pale. "Ethan, why? I thought he should know what kind of person he's running away with." Tears welled again. "You had no right." "Neither did you," he said simply. She didn't reply. Just took Duke and left. He never saw her again. Months passed. Ethan sold the house, moved into a small apartment overlooking the marsh. He started running again, restoring old wood, finding peace in things that could be fixed. Sometimes he saw couples walking downtown, holding hands, laughing, and it still stung, but not like before. He learned that heartbreak doesn't end. It just changes shape. One evening, he sat on his porch, watching the sunset stain the river gold. He thought of Natalie, her laughter, her betrayal, her absence. And he whispered, to no one in particular. Maybe we were never broken. Maybe we just outgrew the lie. The cicadas sang. The sky dimmed. And for the first time in months, he felt the smallest flicker of something he hadn't felt since before it all began. Peace. The end.